Peace and blessings, everyone. Let me thank you for tuning in to another episode of Talking PHAt. I am your host, Keith Robertson. And listen, while you're tuning in, please take opportunity to share and like, because we're here for you. We're providing you what we call public information that a lot of times is not public knowledge. And I have a treat for you guys today. You know, we always talk about the processes that you go through when you have a business endeavor. I'm going to introduce you to a phenomenal young man who, through his incarceration, has been given a revelation. And his revelation is going to turn the entertainment and service industry upside down. You know, this brother came up with an idea, and I'm going to let you explain it to him. But without further ado, Brother Jovan Watson, how you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing great, Mr. Keith, and you?
Man, I'm doing well. First of all, let me thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, you know, to come with us this morning. And listen, guys, this is Christmas Eve morning, right? Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. This brother took time out of his schedule. He took time out of his schedule, right? So he could share this information with you. So, Brother Javon, this is the question that I ask everyone on the onset. Tell the people, who is Jovan Watson and what's his story?
Well, I was born in Richmond, Virginia, to a who later became addicted to drugs and alcohol, a father that was never in the picture, eventually ended up in foster care, group homes, and various other institutions. So I was incarcerated before I was incarcerated. I've been to 5 foster homes, 11 group homes. Never went through the adoption process only because I believed that my family was coming to get me. So over those years, just dealing with all of that in a 9, 10, 11-year-old, it all came out in the forms of stealing, lying, conniving, robbing, everything you can possibly name under the sun. And I ended up in prison. And when I ended up in prison, well, I ended up in juvenile first, then I came home, then I ended up in prison, then I came home and ended up in prison again. So you're talking 3 times, no lessons learned, no network, no resources built, no relationships. So the 7.5 years that I've done this time, with just being released April of last year, I decided to work on me. And the process of working on me, I lost my 9-year-old child in May of 2016, and that was the biggest eye opener in the world.
Wow.
For one, not being able to attend her funeral or her wake or any of that, not having any last words. And I guess the biggest guilt at that point was not being the father I knew I could have been and having to live with that regret. So I said, okay, God, what is the lesson here? What is the message here? What am I supposed to be doing? This is not making sense. And this was not about talent. This wasn't about any aspiration to be anything great in life. This was simply about obedience and listening. That's all it was. I've been talented my entire life. People will tell you he could score a song, he could put it together, he could put an entire group together, but that was not my problem. My problem was connecting myself with the wrong people, not listening to people that were in the background that were saying, hey, that's poison. And I'll say, hey, that's not. I don't think it's poison. And my mom, Clinton, used to tell me all the time, she says, it's not meant for everyone to go where God is taking you. And it took me a long time to get that. So in prison, it was 2018, they had a global leadership summit. And I was like, I'm not going to no summit, man. Them people don't know nothing. And then I just got up, signed the sheet, went to the summit. And then there was this guy there that says, man, listen, I don't know you, but God is going to bless you with an app and it's going to change the world and it's going to feed millions of people. I said, man, if you don't get out of my face with that crap, I'm not trying to hear that. And he said, okay, you ain't got to listen to it, but that's what he told me to tell you. And I've never met this guy before. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, skip. He actually said that God is going to
Yes.
bless you with the app. He
That's
actually
that,
told
those are
you.
his exact
Wow.
those are his exact
Okay.
words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
bro. I
you're
just wanted to
talking,
make that point again. Wow, that's pretty strong there, but go ahead.
yeah. But see, people don't know the story because they don't ask the story.
Mm-hmm.
So they think that someone just came and created an app. That's not what happened. It was a process. But before that process actually took place, that's what I like to call a listening sess. Okay, there was a listening session going on here.
Uh-huh.
So when he said it, I said, okay. Everybody try to hear that mess, man. Matter of fact, you and I don't even believe in the same God. So I went on back to the chair. Next thing you know, the summit is over. I'm walking back. I asked the guy CS, who was one of our partners at the time. I said, "Man, did you tell this guy that I'm like in the business or something?" See, I'm trying to make worldly sense out of something that was spiritual anyway. So I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to make it make sense to me, so I won't feel like I'm crazy. So about 4 months pass, and I have these hives. I'm sweating, and it's just
Mhm.
coming up. And I keep waking up at night. I kept seeing the colors orange, red, white, orange, red, white. So I'm like, I think I'm going crazy. I'm going to the nurse. So I hit the button on my cell and asked to go to the nurse. They said, "What's the problem, Mr. Watson?" I said, "Man, I'm sweating like I don't know what. I'm seeing colors. I don't know what's going on. I think I need to see a doctor." So I said, "You're probably just tired. Just try to get you some rest. Going back to the pod and get you some rest." I said, "That's not what this is." So as I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'll just sit up for a few hours. I decided to just draw on the wall in the cell. Next thing I know, I'm putting paper on the wall, tape on the wall. Next thing I know, I went to each cell that morning, got all the magazines, cut the magazines with some razors. I went to everybody's cell, got their state toothpaste, and I started putting these pictures up on the wall, and I have no idea what they are. And then before you know it, I had event advisor. And I'm like, what is this? I'm not a software developer. I don't understand code. I don't understand none of that stuff. Okay,
Mhm.
this is just a guy who had a club, who did some promotions. He has no clue what's going on here. So I came into my cell and my Bible was on the table, and Bishop Jakes was preaching on vision, and he was preaching on vision, and he was talking about destiny flocks together. And I almost listen to this every morning. And when he was like, destiny flocks together, I said, this can't be what that is. I looked at the wall,
Uh-huh.
I saw it. I looked at the verse. It was um, write the vision. It was Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision upon. And I'm looking at this and I'm listening to him. I said, that can't be what this is. So I asked the officer in the booth, I said, listen, I need you to do me a favor. I need to contact a guy on the compound who they call the prophet. The prophet, he started laughing. Okay, I go back to the table and I just finish writing. So eventually I go to chow, I go to lunch and I run into him. I said, man, look, man, can I talk to you for a minute? See what's going on. But I said, a couple things been happening that's weird, right? And I've been seeing these colors and all this type of stuff, and I won't see none of this stuff until you said what you said. So I didn't know what's going on. And all he said to me was, brother, trust the process.
Hey guys, first of all, let me thank you once again.
Children is the cost of goods. You look at I see it all right now. People start putting away money. You got to start saving and investing or making more money. So this is a big. Now, do I have enough money? Now, will I have enough money? It's not about buying the latest car anymore. Is will we be able to still have this home? Rising costs of food. I mean, just look at it right now. We can all attest to that today. What are you going to do about it? And the answer is for everyone. It's not always the right fit. I just see that a lot of people are moving towards that. Now, that's not for everyone.
Again. And that was it.
Wow.
Next morning I woke up. I was taping stuff together. We got a guy in our pod named Tony Williams. He is a software developer slash computer genius. And he said, man, what you got here is an app. So I'm out there at the table with all the paper spaced out. He said, Watson, do you know what this is? I said, I guess it's what you said it is. Next thing you know, my brother Brian Wilson became a part of the project. Travis Wilson, Christopher Wilson, three Wilsons, myself. Everything started being provided for us in a prison. Brian's cousin was a software designer, app developer, website, Daquan Wilson. So he designed the first My Event Advisor. When we checked the name, well, at first Event Advisor, the name Event Advisor was taken. It was a movie ticket platform. And then my business partner at the time, Travis, said, "Why don't you put my in front of it?" Then it became My Event Advisor. And before you know it, it was going. It was going. And Christopher, he was wrongfully convicted, and he had went home in 2020. And he came to me and he said, "Brother, I'm gonna execute this for you because I believe in it. I believe in you." And in that process, we had raised close to about $40,000 to just put the app in development. And at this same phase, I am I'm like literally in tears. I've never had the opportunity to really not just show talent, but show talent with discipline. While in prison, 280 men would tell you in the pod, I taught business. I never played cards. I never watched TV. All I did was read books. I read books. I wrote books. I wrote spiritual books, and I just kept working on self. And when I came home, everything was there. But that's not even the best part. The best part is it wouldn't stop. So I was watching a what you call those things, a commercial. And the commercial, I never forget it. It was a guy on a plane, and he was like watching I guess a thing on his phone. He was like, he's ziplining with Little John. He said, no, that's Little John. Even I know that. And the moment he said it, the app Zipline formed in my mind. Zipplin, like fast. And I wrote it out, took about maybe 6 hours, taped everything together, and created this app that allowed people to zip and have fun with family, friends, and familiar people, which was KIF. I just got that from the definition of that. And it formed itself so fast. And when I got released, I had an app in the Apple and Google Play Store that was launched in India.
So that's a
That had
different
over
app.
2,000
So
people on it.
you said
Exactly.
that's
That's a
the
different
zip
app.
line versus the My Event Advisor. So this is so you actually have two apps then.
Well, I have two, but I created 80.
Oh wow. Wow, man. Wow.
I do. So today, when you ask me who I am, I can say I'm a man of integrity, a man of discipline. I try to be a God-fearing man as much as I can. I'm a man of vision, a man of purpose, and definitely a man of hope.
Mm. All right. A man of vision, purpose, and hope. Wow, you almost hit my acronyms for Talking PHAt, purpose, hope, and truth, brother. So if I'm hearing you correctly, what you've actually done is created an app that everything can be done in that one central location. You have your event, you have your, let's say you have your event spaces, you have your catering, you have your music, your DJ, and of course the person that's paying for it. So all those individuals are communicating in one venue. So the right hand definitely knows what the left hand is doing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, you would want to continue working with event planners, event hosts, and event promoters because they are essential to the process.
Okay.
But we also want to keep the client involved in the step-by-step process as well. When I first became a promoter, I was about 14 years of age, just running through the city of Richmond, promoting various events, whether that was jazz, classical, pop, clubs, whatever it may have been. And one thing that I came to find that was ongoing was the word anxiety. Every time you talk about event planning, anxiety pops in for some people. And then the word disorganization, it's like, okay, well, how do I control all of this? At times we can barely keep up with what we have in our cars. You're telling me to maintain 15 people a venue when the tickets are to be sold, the price, if something goes wrong, what needs to happen. But my event advisor doesn't just guide you to buying a ticket or planning an event. We also have a section that will be on the app in the coming months that are the actual codes that fire marshals and so forth and so on look for that a lot of promoters miss. I probably was fined 10,000 times trying to do an event, whether that was a break in the fire exit sign, not having a sign on the fire extinguisher, having what they call trip hazards, wires running across the floor. I was fined by the city for not having people against the wall on the actual property of the venue aligned versus there in the streets, that's city property. So some of these things people just don't know. And my event advisor is that go-to app that informs you of all of that.
So you're saying if it gives you the city codes in which you have to operate under to host an event or have an event, and so you're able to
Yes.
follow. Oh, okay. So ultimately, that my event advisor is going to assist whoever's putting on that event to actually create more income because they're able to keep more money in the project versus having to do various things like pay these fines and things of that nature.
True.
Right?
True.
Yeah, great. So wow, man, that's kind of
Look,
interesting to have all that together because I've seen personally, situations where, the day of the event, the unknown happens, wow, if you would have known, that the caterer had a situation 2 days ago, possibly you could have done something or we could have done something to alleviate that key thing that you said, that stress.
They do have something for that. They just don't use it in the event industry. They use it on the entertainment side for the artists. So when I used to book artists for clubs, they used to send over what's called an event writer. And an event writer is just pretty much what the artist desires, how many people the artists are bringing, type of style, venue, hotel, all of that. Any communication happens on the event writer. So we've incorporated on my event advisor an event writer that keeps each service provider updated with changes, whether that's the venue, whether that's delivery. Do you deliver to the back door or the front door? This application decreases chaos, confusion, and controversy and increases efficiency and effectiveness.
I want to go back and pull the layers off a couple things that you said, brother. One key thing that you said was trust the process. Understanding, when you say trust the process, what did that look like to you in your mind? When the brother said trust the process?
Well, first, I didn't know the definition of trust at that time. When you come from a broken home of dysfunction and chaos, confusion, and all of the other things that aren't healthy, your definition of trust is people doing you wrong. So if my plan was to go into business, my thoughts couldn't be people doing me wrong. So what I did was I got the most accurate definition of trust that I could find. And there's no more beautiful definition than the definition of trust from a business perspective or an entity vehicle perspective. And a trust is acting on behalf of. That's what a trust is. So can I be trusted to act on behalf of another person, which means there are benefactors, there's a trustee, there's a document that governs my behavior on behalf of this.
Thank you for taking time to tune in to Talking PHAt. As we know better, we must do better, because action of knowledge leads to power. If this content has been useful to you, please like and share. Tune in again. Peace and blessings.